So basically, Dick Potts, who some of you know of, started monitoring, I think it's about 64 square kilometres of the South Downs back in 1962?
68.
68, okay. And he basically was looking at the invertebrates, birds, all that kind of stuff, and he just saw these downwards trends, which we all sort of know quite a lot about that. And it was going really, really bad. And in 2003, he actually arranged a meeting with the Duke and basically said to him, look, unless you do something on your estate, the grey partridge in particular will be extinct within a year or two. So the Duke, being a very keen shooting man and conservationist, and very keen to sort of reinforce the links between shooting and conservation, thought, well, hang on a minute, if I can't do something, then who can? So by that time, the HLS schemes were all sort of coming into play. So Peter, our previous estate manager, was pulled in, and Peter, this is what we want to do. We want to try and get the grey partridge back on the estate. So Peter put together a package under the old HLS, so conservation headlands, wild bird mixes as they were known back then, and sort of flower margins and all this kind of thing. We took on a part-time keeper, Andrew, who started on the North Stoke beat, which is our kind of furthest westerly bit. Started with about 2 pairs of English, and was basically given the remit of predator control, legal predator control. So he used to be a reared bird keeper, but from then on, from 2003, he was told, you're just on wild game. So he controlled predators, looked after the habitat and fed. And like I say, we started from a base of 2 pairs, and we then brought 9 pairs down from Sandringham. Duke of Edinburgh very kindly donated 9 pairs. And from that moment on, no game has been released on here at all. And we've really focused on the habitat and the winter feeding and the legal predator control. And as a result, the pair count now of the greys is about the sort of 300 mark. We've been up to 370 pairs. We're now about sort of 280, something like that, 290. So it's a bit like that. But we've basically saved the grey partridge on the South Downs. And off the back of that, which I'm sure all of you know, the lapwing are doing very well. Ryan very kindly monitors our lapwing for us, and our pairs are at an all-time high now. Very good production. Invertebrates are doing very well. We have them monitored by a guy called Graham Lyons, who's a complete expert in his field, and we have a very good abundance and lots of different insects. And arable flora is doing very well. There's stuff being found that hasn't been seen for 60 years in our conservation headlands, which is very exciting. And also the general bird life is doing very well. So all in all, it's a win-win. I mean, obviously there's been lots of challenges over the years, but it's a win-win situation. We're basically 15% of the farm is put to nature, and the other 85% is hopefully feeding the world and all the rest of it. So that's a rough sort of thing. Like I say, Conor's our farm manager. He's been with us a year now. Talk about baptism of fire. So I'll hand you over to Conor now, and he'll tell you a bit about our farming system. So
I mean, we'll talk a bit more when we're actually up in having a look around. But effectively, so the majority area that we covered was probably sort of 3,000 acre block here, split between mainly cereals, and we've got a sheep flock as well. So we rotate grass around the rotation. It's mainly our rotation is wheat, barley and pulses, so we've got a good break crop in there. We also do quite a bit of cover cropping now. But like Charlie said, the main focus of our farming operation is based around the red list revival, mainly through the sort of vehicle of using our countryside stewardship. So from a financial point of view, we'll talk slightly more when we go up there, but from a financial point of what we want to do, we have the objectives, or the Duke has the objectives and the aims of what he wants to achieve. To do that financially, we need to piggyback the countryside stewardship, so that that pays for effectively everything that we do here. So without that, it would be extremely difficult. So that forms, that basically dictates what we do from a farming point of view. Like Charlie said, the 85% of the ground that's left, it's in conventional agriculture. Be that as it may, it's relatively extensive. It's not intensive. We don't have massive sort of herbicide regimes, etc. So it's roughly based around that. We don't grow, maize or seed rape, any of that sort of stuff. It's literally cereals and pulses, just to keep it quite simple here. So, given the restrictions we have to work with. But we'll talk a bit more as we go up and around the fields. We can have a look around. So that's it in a nutshell, effectively. So
I think the thing to say as well is we're not organic, we're not intensive. We are middle way farming. We're middle way, which we hope everyone can sort of follow. we're not one or the other. So.